Hi guys, I'm here with another layout. This one is going to be a very quick one. It only took me 40 minutes to make, and it was something that I made actually in the middle of the night. I had trouble sleeping and I thought there's no point in laying here, so I just got up and came down here. This is the first time I've ever scrapbooked in the middle of the night before, so I wasn't sure if this was gonna turn out like something I would like or not. So I'm just having a look through the Heart It Races kit from Scraptastic for October, and I am just kind of having a look at what is in there. And this, I think I'll stop here, die cut from the Chamel line. That one really kind of stood out as a potential title for one of my hiking photos. So I'm looking at that, and I think while I'm looking at it, I just ran over and I decided to print off one of the photos from that hiking trip. And this is a piece of paper from Crate Paper from the Notes and Things collection. And I really love this triangular pattern on the paper, and I like that it's a neutral with just a touch of colors in it. So I want to use this for my background, and this layout is going to be a 6 by 12 layout. So it's going to fit in a half of a page protector. So I have some 6 by 12 page protectors from Becky Higgins, but if you wanted to make a layout like this, all you would have to do is sew down the edge of the center of a 12 by 12 page protector and then cut off the part on the other side. So I started by making that piece 6 by 12, and then I decided that I would mat it on a piece of this peach cardstock, and so I cut the peach cardstock by 6 by 12, and then I down cut, like I cut the crepe paper piece of paper down a little bit, but when I did that I actually cut it a little bit smaller than I would like it to be. That pink doily just doesn't go with the oranges that I want to put in this collection. So I'm thinking about what I'd like to do is fill up the background a little bit more, like fill up that peach cardstock. Before I do anything though, I'm going to mat this paper, this photo, and I just hand cut it just because it was the middle of the night and I was tired. So I didn't do everything exactly the way I normally would do on this layout, just because it's an odd time of day for me to be scrapbooking. So there I go, and I'm looking for that title. I'm going to use I think I'll stop here as my title for this one. And I'm just looking through some of the longer scraps. I want to play up the fact that this is a half page. So I'm using a portrait oriented, don't mind the crazy hair. It is the middle of the night and I was sleeping on it before I did this layout. I'm going to outline around the edges of this piece of pattern paper. I just flipped over the orange paper so that if I went off the edges, it wouldn't show up on the mat. So I'm going to outline this, but I'm also looking for a long, thin piece that I can kind of put as a layer behind, and I'm thinking that this diagonal striped paper would look nice, but I also really like the idea of using this tab. And if I position it just perfectly, it will take up some of that orange background. And that's basically what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that'll just leave less of a border, less of an orange border around the edge. That would look nice too. I do like that look. But I'm going to go with the other side of that paper, and this is also from the Notes and Things collection from Crate Paper. And I put it down, and then I decided, no, I want to scooch it over just a tiny bit more. I want it scooched over as far as I can, but still preserve the name on the file folder, which says photo folder. It looks like it's typewritten onto a little piece of paper and then taped on. Just pulling up the edges for a little bit of interest, and now I'm going to put this background piece on. And I like that. It's just a slightly more interesting than just a plain matted piece of paper. I'm going to run 3 rows of stitching down the right hand side of this layout. And I just move my sewing machine to the largest stitch that it has, or the second largest. It ends up being either 5 or 4.5 that I usually stitch at. I'm just, again, pulling up that file folder piece of paper a little bit, showing you the close-up of what that looks like. I'm pretty pleased with that. It looks pretty good. And now I'm going to use just this washi tape that I have at hand. It's nicer than I usually want to save my nicest washi tape, but there's so much on a roll that it's okay. You can use it on the back side. Now I'm taking my Stampin' Up! Dimensional adhesive, and all around the border I like to cut those little border pieces into little tiny dimensional pieces, and that allows me to use them in tight spaces like this. So that's what I did there. I just hadn't cut them yet. Normally when you see me doing that, they're already cut, but it's a newish sheet, so I hadn't cut them yet. And that will just keep that edge lifted up a little bit once it's in the pocket, in the page protector. So I'm going to cut off the red part of this because it's a little bit too much of a pinky red. It's not red at all, it's a pink. And I don't mind the words being in that color, but I don't want such a big amount of that color of red, or pink, I guess. I'm thinking about playing around with a couple of different places to put it. I'm going to go with it up there. And now this is a piece of paper from Pebbles. It's from the Homemade collection, or Home Plus Made collection. And it has that ampersand gray strip on it is just the decorative manufacturer's border. And so I'm just leaving it intact because I like it like that. And I did put it down a little crooked, so I'm just raising it up a little bit so I can use the arrows or the triangles on the pattern paper below as a guide to place it straight. And then I put the photo on. This is a fairly simple, straightforward layout. It's basically got my photo sitting on a little ledge, the title up in the top corner there. And I know I want to do some journaling on this, but I'm not entirely sure where it's going to go at this point, so I'm just going to continue to make the layout and think about where I might want to put some journaling as I go along. And so I just got these from the Scraptastic store, and they are from Bella Boulevard. They're crocheted hearts, and the orange is just the perfect color for fall, and crochet is also perfect for fall because, you know, we start taking out our sweaters and stuff. So yeah, I also pulled out these two stickers from the Teresa Collins 9 & Company sticker set that came in the kit. And I'm just going to pop dot the edges of them so that it sticks out, or of that one, so that it sticks out a little bit from the page. Gives it a little bit more dimension. Then I'm going to put that little crocheted heart right there in the corner. I'm going to put a little star on it. That's a wood veneer star that came in the kit. So these become the kind of two places where my embellishments will go, one up kind of behind the title and the other one down here to the left bottom corner of the photo. I'm just taking my Mono Multi adhesive, which is a very strong, it's just as strong as Glossy Accents, but it doesn't have a shiny finish to it, so if you get a bit of blobs on anything, it doesn't show up quite as much as the Glossy Accents does. So I do like to use the Mono Multi as my adhesive most of the time. I go back and forth between that and Glossy Accents, to be honest. So I did a little bit more sewing. I didn't bother bringing my camera over with me, but I just sewed over the exact same spot, kind of where that layer of paper had gone over top of the sewing, and I just wanted the sewing to look like it was all sewed down at once, so I just ran 3 lines of stitching over top of it. And I used washi tape to hold down the ends of my threads on the back. Now I just want to put another couple of tiny embellishments. Like, I don't want to do a whole ton of embellishing here, and I think I'm actually going to float this sticker down below. I thought about layering it. I usually do layering, but in this case it looks too busy, and I don't want to compete with the leaves that are in the foreground of this photo. I don't want to put too many things overlapping on top of those leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and float this sticker down below everything else. So it's not touching. That's what I mean when I say floating. Didn't look quite straight to me, so I had to kind of fix it a little bit. I'm going to put a little enamel dot there. And another enamel right here. Those are enamel stars, not dots, of course, but they're by Chickanitty and they came in the kit. And now I want to use this arrow to point at the people in the photo, but I'm going to go back and forth on whether I want it or not. Putting some little dimensional adhesive, because if I do use it, I want it to stand out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put it down. I'm not in love with it there, but I do think that this layout, because it doesn't have a ton on it, I felt like it just kind of needed a little something else, so that's what I went with. Just grabbing my cake box, which is where I do my misting so I don't get anything on my workspace. I'm going to use this piece of paper to mask off most of the layers. I just want the splatters to land mostly on the background paper. So I'm using gold Heidi Swap ink, and it drips quite a lot, so it gives you lots of good splatters. I just used a paper towel, and now I grabbed a baby wipe, and I'm just wiping it off of the sticker because I don't want the splatters on the sticker. The sticker has a lot of detail on it, and I don't want to cover up the phrase. It says today's full of possibilities. So here it is. I'm going to show it to you because I think it's done, but I haven't added my journaling, so I'm not quite done. I'm just taking my brown zig writer, which has the two ends on it. I'm using the fine end, and I'm just writing Economy Falls, Nova Scotia in the space right here, and then I'm going to do my journaling right here. And the journaling says, "What a beautiful day for a hike in the Nova Scotia wilderness. When we came upon the falls, we knew we had to stop and spend some time here, climbing on the rocks and taking in all the gorgeous autumn colors. How wonderful we found this place." And so the journaling ties in with the title, which is, I think I'll stop here. And because it's the middle of the night, my handwriting is kind of gross. It's just my regular handwriting. Usually I have like a scrapbooking handwriting that I use where I kind of take my time and I try to make my letters more uniform, and I have some of them dangle or go up higher than I normally would make them in my regular handwriting. But because it's the middle of the night, I just did it in my regular handwriting. I'm just going to put the date underneath of the sticker, just October 2014. I thought about grabbing a roller date stamp, but part of the reason I didn't is because it was the middle of the night and I was feeling like, okay, it's time to go back to bed now. So I wanted to kind of rush. So there's the journaling. You get to see what those stitches look like down the right hand side. I love that photo. I got down on my belly. I had to lay down on the ground to take that photo. Marcel's getting used to me doing crazy things like that when we're out places. And there's those gold splotches. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I did add a little enamel dot here, so I just did add a little freeze frame, and I thought about adding another enamel dot, but I didn't. So thanks so much for watching. I'm going to try to stick some pictures in at the end of this, and have a really great scrappy week.